Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all here. Why do you think we have the bell here? During NCSD's history, it saved Huey from those who were in there from a fire. This happened a long time ago. That's when that building burned down. So this bell is of historic value. And we're using it today to recognize our veterans. We want to honor our very, very, very special military people who are here today, both past and current. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to recognize Ms. Delene Huggins. Yay, Delene! And she and David Bird, who are the social studies teachers, Delene's middle school social studies, they work together to plan this program to honor our veterans. So I'm going to turn it over to Delene. Can you hear me a little bit? Okay. Welcome to the North Carolina School for the Deaf Veterans Program for 2017. My name is Delene Huggins, and I'm honored to lead our program today. We come together today to recognize our military veterans. We will also remember and honor our own members of our own family that have served in the country's military. World War I, also known as the Great War, officially ended on June 28, 1919. However, fighting ceased 7 minutes earlier between the Allied nations and Germany. This ceasefire went into effect on the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th month. For that reason, November 11th, 1918 is generally regarded as the end of the war to end all wars. The following year, in November 1919, President Wilson proclaimed November 11th to be a day to honor American veterans in all wars. But it wasn't until 1954 that President Dwight D. Eisenhower first proclaimed the day as Veterans Day. So that was your history lesson, and we'll have a test later. All right, so why do we honor our vets? They protected us and they kept us safe. They have fought in wars that they did not start. They go where Congress and the President send them. Our veterans make sure that we have and we continue to have our rights. Because of our veterans, we continue to have freedom of speech. We can state our ideas freely. Because of our veterans, we continue to have freedom of religion. We can pick our church, or we can decide not to go to church. We do not have a government religion. Church and state are separated. Because of our veterans, we have the freedom to protest, to disagree with our government, and to protest when we feel like we are being treated unfairly. I might not agree with how you protest, but I must accept your right to do that. Without these rights, we would be ruled by tyranny. This is how people live in countries like Russia and North Korea. And that is why we thank you, veterans, today. We thank you for your service, and we thank you for your bravery. Now, I will now read names of staff members that are veterans. I will state their names and the years that they served and where they served. And if you will please come up on stage so we can recognize you individually and then as a group. And then I'll ask everybody to stand at the end. All right, for the U.S. Air Force, we have Jeff Carrasco. Am I saying that right? He served from 1980 to 1987. E5. He was a staff sergeant. He served in Hawaii, Wake Island, North Korea, Okinawa, South Dakota, and Myrtle Beach. Wow. So, is Jeff here today? Come on up. Oh, stand right there. In front of you. Okay, next. The U.S. Air National Guard, Jeff Lentz, served 1974 to 1976, E2 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 1971 to 1976, E5. Dean is not here. Okay, but we will still, yay. Scott Stamey, he served from 1976 to 1980, corporal, stationed in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Scott, are you here? And Wade is not here, is information I got. He served 1970 to 1972, level E5, and he served in Germany. Virgil O'Neill, he served from 1975 to 1981, level E4, and he served in Germany. The U.S. Army National Guard, Danny Cook, who I understand is not here as well. He served from 1970 to 1976, Specialist 4th Class, Company A, 2nd Battalion, 120th Mechanized Infantry in Morganton, North Carolina. Jason Williams served 1991 to 2003 as a staff sergeant. He served in Somalia, Bosnia, Kosovo, and 2 times in Iraq. Thank you, Jason. U.S. Army Reserve, Edmund Long. You guys might know him as Eddie Long. Just recently became Sergeant First Class. He participated in the First Gulf War, Iraqi Freedom, and Operation Enduring Freedom. And he is not here at this point. Marvin Irwin, Radio Man, First Class Petty Officer, E5, and he served in the Gulf War. Hogan served from 1983 to 1985 on the USS Austin out of Norfolk, Virginia. Let's all stand and congratulate our military group. Thank you for your free service, guys. Yes. Now, we would like to give staff and students the opportunity to come up, say the name of a family member that served in the military, and ring the bell in their honor. So if you want to participate in this, if you will begin to line up here, and Lisa will tell for my own father who served in the Navy, but also for a very special uncle who served in the Air Force. And he had to lie about his age to go join the Air Force and become a pilot. And after the war, he came back and he finished high school. So, his name is Eugene May, and he is no longer with us.
I have two great-grandfathers that were in the military. They died a long time ago. The first one is John, I forgot the last name, and the other one is Burnwell Driggers. Hi everyone. My grandmother, a long time ago, and his name was Franklin Phillips. And he served in the Air Force. Hi, my dad, John Parker, he was in the Army. My brother was in the Marines. Hello, my name is Dontavius, and my grandfather, his name, and a long time ago, he was in the Air Force. I have two people who served in the Army. One served in the Navy, and I had one family member who served in the Rangers. My daddy was in the Marines in 76 to 80, so I want to say thank you to my dad for helping to protect our country. My dad was Marvin, and he worked for the Navy and the Air Force. Hi, my father was in the Air Force. Hi, my papa, he worked in the Navy and the Air Force. He did something, okay? Hi, my name is Emily. And Patrick Dobbs, he worked in the Army.
Okay. Nope, time out.
Oh, hold on. Dr. Garvin's here.
Yes.
I know we have, y'all went through the veterans that are here. Believe me, I don't think just because I'm here, these guys right here that were also in the military, I mean, hey, they're my brothers, and I cherish their service just as much as I cherish what I do. So I appreciate you guys.
We're getting ready.
That's fine. I appreciate you guys sending what you sent, all your well wishes and stuff to my family, your prayers, and please continue doing what you do for all the ones that are still over there. All right. It was a long year. It was stressful for at least the first 2 months. Because I was in Iraq for the first 2 months and then went down to Saudi Arabia for the last 8, 9. And that was, to me, that was a vacation. But other people might look at that differently, but not being shot at and not having to worry about getting bombed or anything like that was excellent. So you guys that did send me stuff for Christmas. That was a big lift up because the first 2 months were pretty horrible. So and then you guys sent me some. Where's she at? Jenna Lawless. Where's she at? Where's she at? Here. Thank you. You sent me your classes that during the summertime send birthday cards and stuff like that. That was also most welcome. That's what you sent right there. No, that's actually the Christmas card that I got. Don't click too fast. I might have to put something on there. No, it's good. That's the North Carolina T-wall. The T-walls are put around compounds to keep people out. So it was just a North Carolina one that was pretty cool. There you go, Jenna Lawless. You guys sent me too much food. I had to give it away. That's the Optimist, Dr. Gardner. You can play if you want. That's fine. This is my last day in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, or the day before I left.
You want a mic to hold to it? Would that work? Jeddah, Saudi Arabia is like on the west coast of, it's on the west coast of Saudi Arabia. Very religious place, very westernized now. I worked at the U.S. consulate. I was the postmaster for the U.S. consulate APO there while I was in Saudi Arabia. All of our guys are back. All the ones that I went with, the 4 that I went, actually 4, they're back, they're fine. Our whole platoon is back. Our 3rd platoon is actually there now.
they won't be back until, I think, February or March. I did get promoted while I was gone. With that, okay. And will that keep me in a little longer? It might. I was planning on return, but now that I got this, and now that a lot of guys came up to me and were like, well, you promised you would stay in if you got promoted. It really depends. I would prefer not to go back on the deployment. 5, I think, is enough. But when you've done something for over half your life, it's kind of hard to just walk away from. Especially when you got young people out there that need more guidance, and you just see the need for your input into their life. So I appreciate all y'all once again for all your prayers and your well wishes and your cards and just everything from the school. Also, I wanted to say that I seen where y'all got the recognition from the state or from the federal government on your support me all the time. That was cool. Other than that, thank you. I'm still going to be gone for at least a month for leave, and then I'll be back sometime in December. Thank you.
We need pictures.
Turn this off for the background. And then we would like to invite back to the stage
We want to invite everyone back to the stage,
your
your comrades in arms,
to come and have some pictures.
and have some pictures made of.
Well, we want you to have the same, we need to have the same picture where he's in the middle, right? Mark, how's Jeff now?
Edmund, you have another place that you're expected. Can you tell the students here and the staff where you're going now?
So our nephew stays with us, so I'm going to Mountain View Elementary as well. They're also having a Veterans Day thing, so I would have went anyway, whether we're having anything or not, just because. But I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back. It's cold outside, so I mean I know it's probably not cold to y'all, but it is freezing outside. Thank you.
Thank you all. I'm going to take a minute to just go back to the people who were in charge of the program that we mixed up because you didn't know what was going to happen. So it was a surprise for everyone. Dave Clark was in on the secret recently. So what do you have next on your program?
Do y'all want to sit down, or?
I want to talk with them before they sit down. What's
Oh,
next on the
okay.
program?
We still have people that are waiting to recognize their families.
Awesome, wonderful. So if you gentlemen would come back this way together as a group, and
And students are coming up and recognizing members of their family that have served in the military or are serving in the military. So,
hello and congratulations to all of our staff. I want to recognize my brother, Donald Connor, and he served in Vietnam for several years. Hello, everyone. My grandfather, he was in the Navy somewhere in the 1920s and 30s, and my father was in the Army in Italy after World War II, and my brother was in the Army for several years, and he was a specialist. I have many family members who were involved in the military, both grandparents and grandparents in World War I and World War II. My grandfather was in the military and my father was in the Air Force at the Citadel, and then he served in the Air Force and released with honors. My older brother graduated in 13 and a half years, and he was a helicopter pilot. He would collect those who were injured and bring them back to base. So I have a whole family that has been basically all over the world and responsible for helicopters. And so, you know, they're all retired now, but I would like to honor my family.
Two of our students wanted me to read for them. Oliver Sprock has two grandfathers who served, one during Vietnam in the Army and one during World War II, also in the Army. And Asher Bailey has an uncle who served in Qatar and Honduras and is still currently serving, and a great grandpa who served in World War II in Europe.
I want to recognize my father who served in the Navy, and also my sister who served in the Army, and also my brother who served in Marines and controlled the airplane.
I had an uncle, Jerry Robinson, and he served in the Air Force in the 1960s, and he was involved in the Vietnam War.
I have many family members who were in the armed forces, but I would like to recognize my dad. It's very hard. He was in the Pacific, in the Navy, and he entered Nagasaki the day after the atom bomb was dropped. It was an awful, awful experience for all of the men who were there. But those who survived came back, were very proud of their service. I recognize my dad.
I want to recognize my grandfather and my uncle. Both served in World War II in the Southern Pacific. Both were released with honors in 1945.
Is there anyone else? If not, I want to thank everyone for coming today, taking time to honor our veterans. They are truly special. If it was not for our veterans, our lives would be very different. And I think we need to remember that today, tomorrow, this weekend, and every day of the year. Thank you for coming, and you're dismissed.
I want to thank our veterans. We want to thank them. You know, I'm deaf, and I live in the United States of America. If I lived in another country, who knows? I probably wouldn't be protected as I am here in the United States. So I want to say thank you to all of our U.S. veterans who help protect us, deaf and hearing both. Thank you.